A Christian Money Guide. Chapter 1. The Spiritual Practical Guide of Money. Take away the tithing and wise money is common sense. What I really hate about the TV and YouTube ministers, especially the ones preaching about money, is that they're always talking about tithing, implying that you give these messengers for God your money. I like watching Dave Ramsey on YouTube, but he's always talking about how tithing will come back to you multiplied, which is just another part of the law of attraction lie. In the real world, if you help others, you can easily end up in the poorhouse. Many stupid people give their money to some cause and expect some spiritual return from God but get nothing. Beyond that, Dave Ramsey and all the other TV ministers are selling their books and tapes on prosperity. I'm about living a comfortable lifestyle, not obsessing over material things you don't need, saving money where you can regardless of whether you're going through hard times or simply don't want to waste money if you don't have to. I can help you if you are low on money or want to live a comfortable, modest life focused on doing things rather than owning things. Life is best when you have enough for your needs, not greed, because it's simpler. Take a look at the resting facial expressions of some of our billionaires. Go on any search engine, use the images search. Do these guys look like the epitome of joy, peace, freedom, beauty, euphoria, and the aesthetic appreciation of life? Money can only bring you happiness to the point that it pays all your bills for a modestly comfortable life. Material excess is a sin to me. Material excess is the sin of gluttony, plus you covet your neighbor's goods when you take more than you need from the earth's bounty while others starve every day. Jesus said in Matthew 19:24 that it's harder for a rich man to get to heaven than it is for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. In 1 Timothy 6:10, Timothy says, "For the love of money is a root of all evil." How many shows have I watched on Forensic Files, American Greed, and the First 48 where people have murdered and cheated others greatly for money, sometimes as little as a few $100s in drug rip-offs. Someone knows a friend who has drugs or sells drugs. He goes over and kills his friend just to steal a little bit of drugs and money. Then I watch those Real Housewives shows and those shows on the E! Network which are about brainwashing women into thinking that material excess in so-called fashions, shoes, cosmetics and purses is the way to be, so that the average woman becomes an eternal consumer of clothes that she will rarely wear. Enlightenment is when you realize nobody really gives a crap about how you look unless they want to date you or make money off your looks. Your life is about you in your head. Your worth to others is your usefulness to them and love for them. What others might think of you is this lie created by Hollywood and others called social status, which doesn't matter to enlightened people. You simply live according to your own standards and true nature. Whatever the world says in its gossip or celebrity culture, you shouldn't waste your time on much. But every year People magazine comes out with the sexiest man alive, and by the next year, nobody knows who it was. People replace their pop culture idols all the time. It's all a fake glitter culture geared to make you jealous and aspire to be like these so-called stars by buying a bunch of clothes and cosmetics you don't need. The native Indians understood that you take what you need and that's it. It's the sacred balance. Our culture of greed helps create a sense of fear, greed, and brings out the evil in people. So what if you sit in a big mansion with a nice view on a 300-acre estate? You feel good from what you do, not sitting in one place collecting stuff. Happiness comes from touching the transcendence within you. Do something hard and feel it. Life should be time to do what you want, not to be a pig. Just because you can afford a big mansion does not mean it's right. Even though you earned the money, there is something wrong with anybody who engages in extreme frivolity. While UNICEF in its child mortality reports says that about 30,000 children die every single day of preventable diseases. If there is a God watching over us or some spiritual overlords, they will never allow the human race to be worthy of them until it shares the bounty of the planet by taking care of everyone no matter what, with no one living in extreme excess. This will not happen as long as we live in a greed-driven capitalist system where for-profit corporations control the media. We live in a horrible world. The human race will suck as a species until the people unite to change it. Politicians won't do it because they're part of this pigpen. The people have to unite and do it. Having a lot more money than you need can be a bad thing because it gives you the opportunity to overindulge in your weaknesses and self-destruct. Some people buy a bunch of junk and sit around watching crap on TV or doing inane things. Golf courses use up enormous amounts of water and energy, so a bunch of boring people with nothing better to do can hit a ball around. Meanwhile, there's a homeless kid a few miles away. Some people eat themselves silly. Some people get into drugs and alcohol. Some people hire sex workers. There is a sense of inner accountability for noble people. It goes back to Wolfgang Goethe's Faustus. Life is not meant to be a series of frivolous sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures are fine as a piece of life, not the whole thing. It's meant to try to do something great with what you got. Life is spirit. That's all it will ever be until the moment you die. Enlightened people realize that. They live the greatest lives possible, releasing whatever is in their spirits with joy and gusto every day, but the world is screwed. Almost everybody is brainwashed by capitalism. When you don't own much, the government can't hassle you on taxes. People can't be bothered suing you because you got nothing. Some people survive money-wise day by day, week by week. They don't save or invest because they don't have the extra money. This is good in a way because you can't get depressed when the stock market crashes, and it always does. Some people only have enough money for the immediate future. If you don't have much money, it can be a blessing because you don't have to worry about maintaining a bunch of material things, investments, etc. If you don't have a big house, you don't have to mow the lawn. There are plenty of parks you can walk around in to feel the grass. Aging is the big equalizer. If you got a strong, joyful spirit, it will help you stay young. If not, when you get old, slow, and disabled, all you do is sit in a room regardless of how much money you got. If you don't have a free, light feeling, money can't buy it. Whatever money you have, keep it in cash hidden away or in a foreign bank account. How to be wealthy? The way to wealth, if you desire it, is as plain as the way to market. It depends chiefly on two words, industry and frugality, that is, waste neither time nor money, but make the best use of both. Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin makes a lot of sense with this statement. What he means is to be always working, doing something active that earns you money somehow, and always be saving it. That's how most people get wealthy. And don't forget the biggest technique of all to get wealthy. Save money, put it in the bank where it compounds over the years. Not only do you earn interest, but you earn interest on the interest. A major drain is taxes. Either hire tax professionals or learn ways on your own to minimize paying them. Consider illegal ways if you are willing to take that risk. Most people either work a job or run a business. They are not multidimensional. Smart people own a bit of rental real estate, have a few stocks, a few savings bonds, and some kind of sideline business that earns them extra cash. This could be anything: selling things, teaching a class, writing information books, doing a word processing service, cleaning yards and hauling junk away, etc. You have your main income and residual income. It's not that hard to buy an extra house or two and rent it out, or start a small, niche website business. Real estate, investing and selling are easy ways to make residual income. Trying to consume our way to happiness has destroyed many of us. Live as cheaply as you can. Save whatever you can. Don't spend money on a lifestyle or things you don't need just because you have it. Save it for when you need it or give it away to charity. Get out of credit card debt. Your only loan should be for a house. Buy a used car for cash out of an ad in the newspaper at least 6 years old in order to avoid monthly payments. It's better to live with a comfortable standard of living than to be poor. But at what point does the pursuit of wealth reach a point of diminishing returns where your time and effort bring more stress and less happiness than if you were to knock off at a prudent time and enjoy other aspects of your life? The rich get richer because it generally takes money to make money. To make money, you generally need money to invest in something. Most rich people start out getting help from their families. There are very few people out there with the classic rags to riches story, but there are a few who are willing to work their butts off to get there. Poor people can move into the comfort of middle class, but very few get rich. Many of the poor stay poor because they barely earn enough money to survive, and what they do earn they want to enjoy right away because they feel that saving their paltry amounts is essentially useless for what good it will do them at some point in the future. Most people who get rich are obsessed with money and willing to work 16 hours a day for long periods of time in order to get it, sacrificing a social life, friends, hobbies, a relaxed lifestyle, the pursuit of hedonism, everything for their pursuit of their money. That's great if you love what you do, but there is a point where balance becomes necessary in order to live a good life. Often, people born into a poor, unstable family or people who feel inferior somehow strive to overcompensate for these inadequacies by sacrificing everything to get rich, but in the process may lose out on living a good quality of life, so it's a two-way street. At what point does the pursuit of money destroy your ability to enjoy your life? Many people aren't competitive or ambitious enough to strive for great amounts of money. They're relatively content with what they have with their regular job and easy to please, not needing much beyond the basics, so money is not necessarily the be-all, end-all for everybody, although it is for a lot of people and makes them angry and miserable because they're not as rich as they want to be. This could arguably be the greatest cause of anger and stress that nobody ever talks about. People frustrated when they see all the wealth and frivolous lifestyles on TV, get jealous and feel all that rage inside for not living this material standard of living. When you see some dipstick pop culture character like Pam, who has never done anything substantial in her life beyond posing nude in a magazine, get a $2 million book deal, you wonder where's the justice, but this the world we live in. Don't concern yourself with the flakes they parade at you on TV. Do as I do. I shut my TV off and focus on my own life. Think of wealth in terms of time and money. Most people who have lots of money spend lots of time working for it, but the advantage is that they love what they do, even if there's all that trivial crap that goes along with it. If you don't truly love your work, it's a wasted life. The ideal is to do what you love to earn you your money. If you don't love what you do to earn you your cash, slowly transition out of your current occupation to go in the direction you most strongly feel in your soul. Ultimately, what it comes down to is that you have a finite block of time to live your life. Time is all you really own. You need enough money such that you can use your time to keep yourself inspired and happy, either love what you do that earns you your bread or work your dull job enough to earn enough bread to cover bills, then spend the rest of your time enjoying your life, doing what you really want to do. Think it through. You gotta play the game for yourself. Love your life enough to do the things that keep you happy and inspired and earn your bread at the same time, all the while being humble and wise enough not to have too many material needs to start out with. With compound interest, savings add up over time. Always live by your own standard of wealth, not that of your neighbors or the standard portrayed in the media. Most people accumulate wealth slowly, bit by bit over time, while living comfortable lives within their means, so take it cool, don't beat yourself up because you're not getting rich fast enough. Shop around for the best deals on large purchases. Don't live above your means. Except for a house and car, don't borrow money for anything else, which means don't go into debt. Don't waste money on frivolous things just to try to fill up an empty part of you. The problem is more spiritual, in your soul. Material things can't solve this problem. Learn about investments. Stick with stocks and funds and avoid others like options, futures, precious metals, currency trading, energy, etc. In the investment realm, don't listen to anyone but yourself. Check out a stock's past track record before you buy. If it doesn't have one, like many IPOs, don't buy it. Beware of the guru talking heads in the investment realm on TV. Many are hyping up something they have a vested interest in one way or another. Understand your finances and do whatever it takes to be in the black with money saved up. Guard against theft. Count change when you get it for a large denomination bill. Don't even go out with large amounts of money unless you're making a major purchase, in which case go straight to the store and buy it. The spiritual/creative way to make $. Annual income £20, annual expenditure 19 and 6, result happiness. Annual income £20, annual expenditure 20 and 6, result misery. Mr. Micawber in Charles Dickens' David Copperfield. Love your business, enjoy your work, do it well with gusto, serve your customers and the money will come. Make work your play. Find what your customer wants and give it to him in a manner which nets you a clear profit, then multiply it by finding as many customers as you can any way you can while keeping expenses down. It's the same with work. If an occupation or company doesn't pay big bucks, move on to ones that do. Be at peace with yourself. Help people get what they want out of life. Money isn't necessarily the be-all, end-all to a happy life, nor is working a job you don't like just for the money. The purpose of a happy life is to create the life you want for yourself as you go along. You don't necessarily need a lot of money, although some people with expensive tastes and hobbies do like eating caviar or flying airplanes. My hobbies are basic physical activities that don't require a lot of expenditure and keep me perfectly fine and happy without having to waste money on a big boat to go cruising in the harbor a few times a year when I absolutely hate being cooped up on a boat, even though it's supposed to be a big status symbol. It's this type of thinking that will sink you. I don't waste my life doing jobs I don't like just for the money. I found a few things I like to do that earn me money, I do them. I don't waste my money on useless things, so I live a pretty good life for a guy who doesn't work a regular job nor runs a full-time business with all the headaches that would bring to cloud my quality and enjoyment of life. The greatest life is freedom of the spirit, not bondage to working for the almighty dollar, even if you make tons of it. You have to find a middle ground between living by freedom of spirit and earning money such that you live a reasonably happy life as you go along. Mind you, money is good to get you to a certain financial level to be able to exercise your freedom of spirit in peace unhassled by the world, but when you cross the line into the just the little bit more and I will be happy syndrome, you re-trapped into the capitalist ideal. You will never have enough no matter what. You will be stuck on that materialistic treadmill forever, acquiring things in an effort to fill the hole that can only be filled by you living a life true to yourself. Conventional New Age gurus these days like to say follow your passion and the money will follow, but I see plenty of starving artists from where I stand in the real world looking at the pipe dream created by the entertainment industry, presenting the illusion that anybody can be a pop star, movie star, or best-selling author if they dream their dreams, work hard, never give up, and the hand of either God or Peter Pan is on them, but they never say that all these things are flukes. The difference between one guy becoming a movie star and the next guy who's just as equally qualified is chance, luck, whatever you want to call it, but it's a fact that your destiny is in the hands of others who decide on who they hire and for how long, which is a horrible way to pursue your life, in a flaky, non-essential field where your success is determined randomly by the subjective opinions of the people with the power, the producers and directors of the product. If you don't believe me, go to Nashville or New Orleans, check out all the old-timer musicians playing the honky-tonks, and they will all tell you they were just as good as Elvis or Willie or whoever, but no record producer would give them a break into the big time. These guys will comfort themselves by saying that at least they didn't sell out, did it their way, didn't compromise to the man just for the money, but the bottom line is that they're failures by society's capitalist standard because they really don't have it all, to be doing what they want and enjoying a good standard of living along with it. Freedom with wealth is a much better way to live than being a struggling artist, which is why you have to be smart about it. Forget about all this frivolous stuff about maybe making it big as a pop culture product and using your head to create something real that people really need. That's a sure thing. There's a happy medium between following your pure art as a free spirit and living in the real world to tailor your passion into fulfilling a real-world pragmatic need, not necessarily going after something flaky to entertain and inspire the masses, because success in that arena is tenuous at best, transient except for the few talents who can draw crowds consistently over 5 or more years, of which there are very few. I'm saying get real, live in the real world. Find something within yourself that you can use to help people in a real bona fide way, and you will get to do what you enjoy and make enough money to live a relatively free, comfortable lifestyle. In the realm of pop culture, you're only fresh and new once, then people get tired of you unless you're exceptional, so your shelf life is very limited at best. Yet millions of naive young guns don't realize this and set out to reach their frivolous dreams only to crash when they realize the entertainment industry isn't as frivolous and easy as they thought. They realize it's a cutthroat, competitive world based on the illusion of glamour and coolness which isn't real in the real world and applies only to a few so-called stars who are chosen basically randomly because there are always 1,000 others who can easily take their place, so they're paid well to become the pitchmen for this pop star dream that has brainwashed so many young and even older people who want to be stars without any scope of the reality of life. Making money is hard work. Make it your priority to earn it by expending your creative energies in a positive, useful way, because when you channel your true soul into whatever it is you're doing to earn your cash, you will have an infinite supply of boundless energy, which is good as long as you're not spinning your wheels doing something that the world needs, like a hole in the head, like another boy band, a so-called action movie, another pop song with a cheesy video, another crime novel, another frivolous woman's magazine, etc. Don't live the status ideal of keeping up with the Joneses nor compare yourself to others. Live by your own standard, do what you want to do freely and tailor it into a means to earn your living. Don't be overly emotional or nostalgic about life in general, because it's constantly moving forward much too fast for the truly inspired creative person creating their lives to try to get the most out of it, to sit back for very long and dwell on things that were, things that might have been, or just straight out fantasize about things that are impossible. You have to ride your life as it goes along, not just sit back and be content to live a dull life in a fantasy. Strive for the uniqueness of creative expression in such a way that you fill a real need in society, and you should get the spiritual, personal, and financial success we all really want. Most people are afraid of going on their own, pursuing what they feel in their souls to offer something to the world that they perceive tangible and worthy. They play it safe in a dull job somewhere, which inherently destroys their souls over time and could lead to disaster if they lose it, as is common in today's world with a changing economy and lots of downsizing due to dying industries and an oversupply of product in general. Living by the soul is the hardest thing in the world to do. Most everybody likes to think they're living by soul, but they're generally living out the college professional career path of the American dream, which is a compromise for everyone. True strength of characters to create your own life for yourself, not simply to pick from among the several hundred options offered by the system as the definition of success. You take a professional career in anything, I don't care what it is, you're compromising your life. Give it all you got for what you really believe in that's worthy for the human race, and not just a delusional piece of flaky art, and you should live an honorable, happy, successful life. If something doesn't work, don't sink with the ship. Be real enough to get off, reinvent yourself and move in a different direction. Keep creating yourself and try something new. Failure is a two-sided coin. You didn't achieve your intention, but you learned that that's not what the world wants right now, so you now have the wisdom to know that the world is generally not fickle, that only a few flukes luck out in the pop culture realm, so you know you have to give it something real in order to have it respond back to you and reap tangible benefits. So be real with what you come up with to offer the world. In order to get the most out of life, you have to challenge your creative potential all the time, and if that means breaking from convention to try out a new idea, why not? Do it intelligently though. Tailor your great ideas on something the world needs, not just something that's unique to you that you think is a great idea that might catch on. Too many people are caught up in their own individuality, but the world doesn't care about your individuality. It only cares if you can help it some way. So if you want to be unique, you can do it all you want on a street corner doing cheap tricks for spare change, but if you're smart, you won't start with yourself as your focus but with the world, and use it to tailor your creative energy to fill a need that's relevant to the day-to-day practical lives of people. Any movie maker or music act will tell you there's no certainty in those fields. Every new release is a risk. Nobody knows for sure if the public will embrace it, but way back in 1976, when Bill Gates was developing software for the Altair, the first personal computer, he intuitively knew that PCs would someday revolutionize the world. This is the difference between being real and being a victim of pop culture delusion, the trap which I have seen many of my friends and acquaintances fall into, thinking they were way fantastic, special, and unique with stars in their eyes, thinking they were going to go out and be the next soap opera star, only to realize everyone who makes it in these businesses are flukes, because there are easily a few thousand more that fit the bill and someone else is always calling the shots. With their whims on any particular day, you could be the one picked to get the record contract or to star in the latest TV series, or maybe you will be the one who doesn't get picked, which is far more likely. So in the end, I live in the real world of houses, bathrooms, teeth, food, and money, and don't take my creative energies that seriously that I will be a starving artist for them. As long as I'm creating something that's reasonably interesting, serves a useful function in the world and earns me money, I'm happy. I don't have to end up like Van Gogh did, stabbing himself in the heart because he couldn't sell any of his paintings. The reality of money. A man is rich in relation to the number of things he can leave alone. Money is a boring subject to most people and they hate wasting time on it. I learned it, and so can you, without being psycho-bamboozled by all the phonies out there claiming they know some great secrets which they don't, because money is very simple when you get right down to it and learn the foundational elements. The most basic rule is that money is not a complicated subject. It's very easy to learn and get on the same level as any so-called expert out there, and then you can have a bit of fun keeping an eye out for a hot stock, and that's it. Don't waste too much more time on it. For all you naive people out there who are now as naive as I was a few years ago, I'm telling you to take the time to learn about it so you know what's going on, so that you can get some control over your money for the rest of your life. The easiest rule is always prepare for the worst, which means to save, 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 so you will have money when a crisis hits, like you lose your job or your kid needs expensive braces. The bottom line is to have a sense of your financial goals and to save as much as you can and spend as least as you can. Learn about financial instruments and invest wisely. Knowledge is power. Use this book to learn all about money. It's not rocket science. You can learn it all reasonably quickly, then you can be your own financial planner rather than paying or trusting somebody else. Have some of your money in near liquid form. Don't trust anyone when it comes to money, and that means the guys in suits with stockbroker or accountant licenses. They're in it to make a buck, and most of them don't give a damn about you except to sell you something to make a commission off you. The next thing you must do is get all your paperwork in order now, in case you die or something else happens. Get your social security papers in order, make up a list of your professional contacts, bank records, CDs, stocks, bonds, real estate papers, safety deposit box information, investment certificates, retirement savings information, tax records, insurance papers, will, etc. Photocopy or computer scan them and keep the spares in another location, like at your work / or a relative's house, or in a metal box in case of fire. Talk to your spouse about money matters and educate your kids about them. If your parents are getting old, talk to them about your inheritance. If you're getting old, talk to your kids about your will. Living better money-wise comes down to 3 things. Making more. Spending less. Doing wise things to cut down on costs. I won't bore you with patronizing discussions, but I will get it out of my system here. Firstly, get rid of pride, the syndrome of keeping up with the Joneses, more appropriately called ego / trying to be cool. Ego is all image, which is useless to how you really feel in your soul. I personally feel that the industrial and then the media revolution has brought us to this tragic state of affairs where life is based on material wealth. Many people buy big houses and expensive toys and end up working their butts off to pay for it all, never able to slow down and really enjoy it. The problem most so-called successful people have with money is that as their incomes increase, spending increases proportionately on mostly frivolous, useless things. So often they have very little saved up, thinking it will go on forever, but the incoming supply of money usually dries up at some point in time, and if you don't have a safety net of saved wealth, you're screwed, as so many nouveau rich find when their new riches suddenly dies out, as often happens in the marketplace. If you're in debt, get out of it. If not, save as much money as possible in conservative stable investments in a 401k, or other tax-exempt investment vehicle for the compound interest over the long run. Use your money to make money through wise investments. Buy rental property for a good sound investment. Don't be a slave to materialism. Find extra money by cutting out all frivolous spending. You can save a lot on food, firstly by always eating at home, cooking your own food from scratch versus processed stuff, and cutting out expensive foods for the cheaper healthy ones. Food books are at number 641 at the library. Be a comparison shopper. Hunt for the cheapest deals on just about everything. Buy your stuff from the big department stores. Use the internet for shopping research on big purchases. Minimize your purchase of all types of insurance, a relatively new concept based on our paranoia of tragedy, barely known 50 or more years ago. Simply keep track of your spending and consciously know where all your money goes. Pay for everything retail by cash. It's more real that way, not like plastic, which is so easy you will probably spend more than you intend to, then the credit card companies got you hooked, paying interest on the money you owe. Look for a bank with free services and no ATM fees. Get your taxes down by a competent professional who will maximize your savings. Don't get greedy about money. Try to live an interesting life in and of itself without the need for extravagant things to make you feel good. Take a look at your house or apartment. Unless you really need it all, consider moving into a smaller place in a lower part of town where property taxes, rents, houses and everything else is cheaper. Even the stores in different parts of the same town charge differently for their goods. If you're too proud, well, be a sucker. Keep shelling out money for nothing unless you can afford to waste it. You have to get rid of your consumer attitude, the one that says make money and spend it, on what, it doesn't matter, just spend it because you got it, even if it's all useless, trivial stuff that's got no real relevance other than minor recreation, and it probably doesn't even do that. Other things that are a waste of money are coloring your hair, painting nails, tattoos, body piercings, excessive jewelry, $80 video games, new cars, the latest fads, frivolous clothes, etc., etc. I'm not down on looking nice, it's just that I and every other intelligent person knows when someone's being vain and frivolous, and they're among the worst character traits anyone can have. There are a few rough spots you have to watch out for in the course of life, like weddings and funerals. I include a section on funerals in this book and a section on weddings in my love book. The point is to plan these events well in advance and don't give in to the tradition of foolishly wasting money on some of the frivolities involved, all for the sake of guilt and / or the delusion that you're creating some kind of atmosphere. Atmosphere is in the head, not in how much money you spend. You can have nice, respectable weddings and funerals and not fork over an arm and leg if you know what you're doing in advance. Another sore spot that usually hits a lot of yuppie types when they start making some money is that they develop this kinda "I have arrived" syndrome, where they think they're in as far as being winners in society, so they go out and spend lots of money on useless things to reassure themselves as to how cool they are and how far they have come. Save what you don't need for the future. Virtually everybody can rest assured that they will have some crisis in their lives where they will have some kind of money problems. You might have kids. They might get sick or go to college, they might turn out to be bums and you will have to support them, you might get divorced, you might lose your job, you might get sued, you might get robbed, you might go nuts, you might get cancer or multiple sclerosis. Life is a long time, you never know what will happen, but you can bet that something negative will at some point in the future of your life. Don't do your saving in a vacuum. Tell your family about it and get them involved with your new headspace. Did you ever hear of the old saying, penny wise and pound foolish? It means we will pinch our pennies on the groceries and things like that and then waste it on other things like buying a new carpet for the home on a whim when the old one just needs a shampoo, or spend $800 for a new Chesterfield when you could have bought a nice second-hand one either at a thrift store, out of an ad in the paper, or at a clearance bargain basement shop. I notice that some of us, especially the older generation, will scrimp on everything, but when it comes to the home, they don't mind shelling out large sums of money on seemingly trivial things in the mistaken assumption that they're adding to the value of the house or doing something wise because it's for the house. A bed is a bed is a bed. It doesn't matter if it cost $100 or $1,000, it's still just a bed, so don't needlessly waste money and justify it by thinking that you're pampering yourself because you're so special. I believe that TV has a lot to do with subtly proliferating a kind of cool attitude within our culture. We watch all these well-dressed people acting frivolous, living in these nice houses on the sitcoms, and we think that's the way we should be. It's worse for the kids who see it all and want to be part of this TV reality. If you're a parent, whether you have cable TV or not, if you want to be a good parent, you have to take active steps to get your kids off their butts and out of the house to do something for real. Video games are a start. Don't you dare buy video games for your kids over and above some educational shareware for their computer. And secondly, it's a fact that many kids' shows are actively developed as nothing more than extended advertisements. I have contempt for the entertainment industry because I see most of it as an insult to human dignity and intelligence. I can't tolerate sitcoms, so-called dramatic TV series, or most movies because they're all so stupid. I have a fertile mind with my own creativity. I have no desire to waste my time on other people's overrated fiction, much of which is totally scummy and downright ridiculous. In the same vein, all so-called art and fashion is phony stuff done by some phony person who thinks they're extra special or divinely touched. It's all illusion perpetuated by frivolous people out of touch with reality. And professional sports has no emotional content whatsoever except for the phony hype the brainwashed sheeple with loser lives give to it. It's all business, and if you're a fan, you're a sucker for wasting your time and money on it. Instead of watching TV or wasting your time as a spectator of anything, get a life. Do things to better yourself, learn about things that matter, better your family, your love life, or your house. TV is not inherently good or bad, just make wise choices with your God-given time. It's amazing what you could do if you just shut off the damn tube. If you ever need a dose of humble pie, take a trip to India, see the poverty, and you will realize that you're a fat, gluttonous pig next to them. Then go over to China and see how efficient they are at getting food out of anything. They even go so far as to set traps in the city parks to catch squirrels to eat. Get rid of everything that's possessing you. Quality of life doesn't have a lot to do with standard of living. Try HG 179, number 332 or number 646.7 at the library for books about how to simplify your life financially. Poor little rich kid. What you inherit is not as valuable as what you earn on your own. Where the poor are limited by poverty, it is the duty of the rich to cultivate themselves in their idle time, and if they use their own riches for this, they can reach the highest elevation. Arthur Schopenhauer. Money is not the key to happiness, particularly if you inherit it firstly because you're always a target for others either through lawsuits or vicious gossip. Secondly, people look down on you for being a spoiled rich kid who never had to go to the school of hard knocks. And thirdly, many of these rich kids feel thwarted because they're associated with a wealthy family, a wealthy lifestyle, and are expected to act in a certain way. They just can't do whatever they want in a free way without getting scorn from somewhere. Their parents often have a life agenda all planned out for them. Many get warped ideas about life. They don't know what reality is, how they would handle themselves if they suddenly lost all their inherited wealth. Many become arrogant, thereby alienating people and or self-destruct in one abuse or another because way down deep they don't feel worthy of all this easy money they didn't earn themselves. Whether the people in the documentary Born Rich were being kind of fake, all trying to express a noble side of doing something worthwhile with their lives, the two facts remain. Every individual on the planet only gets worth out of creating something by themselves for themselves, not by simply being somebody else's clone or living a life of decadence and luxury. Many rich kids have this stigma that they try to get over, separating themselves from their family in order to do something with their lives worthy and alone. Chapter 2. Christianity and Money. The Christian view of money. I was born naked, I will die with nothing but my body. God gives me everything and He can take it away. Job, Deuteronomy. It is the Lord your God who gives you the power to become rich. Deuteronomy 8:18. The love of money is the root of all evil. Some who have coveted after it have strayed from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. 1 Timothy 6:10. Jesus was a champion of the simple, humble lifestyle. I have read through the Bible and the book of Proverbs several times over, and the philosophy behind it is give cheerfully with a happy face and the good of the world will come back to you. Proverbs 3:9, 11:24-25, Luke 6:38, 2 Corinthians 9:6-7, Matthew 6:1-4. The greatest direct commentary on money in the Bible is probably the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, written by King Solomon, who implies that all his riches have not brought him happiness, they were all just grasping for the wind. He seems to imply that wisdom is the only true course to a good life. In 1 Kings 3:11-14, he asks God for a wise and understanding heart, and God give it to him. To me, a life lived trying to keep your sense of inspiration strong is the only true course to a good life. So take it from us, money is necessary to live a good life, but it's not the elixir of a good life. Wisdom and inspiration are into Christian types, the ultimate elixir is subsistence to God and obedience to Him. Although I watch my money, it's not my master. I try to live a spiritually meaningful life and don't mind giving somebody some of my time or material things if they're sincerely trying to help themselves, because in the end, you will judge yourself and it will always be based on how good of a person you were to others. Money is just a tool. God owns everything anyway. When you die, you can't take it with you. The bottom line of the Bible in terms of dealing with money is that debt is slavery. You shouldn't be so concerned with material things that you get into debt, but if you do, get out of it and stay out. I saw a preacher give a story about how the Bible tells you save through the story of Joseph in Deuteronomy 28. He had a vision from God that in order to avoid famine and starvation, the king of Egypt had to build storehouses to store grain. This is what wise people do. They save their money. Never buy more than you can pay for right now, and that includes your car. Buy a clunker to stay out of debt, but there's an exception in the way of houses. Most people need a mortgage, but in that case, get a clause allowing prepayment on the balance and get rid of it as quickly as possible. For my ideas on buying a house, get my real estate book. I talk about an idea that we in the West seem to have gotten away from, even though a large part of the world still engages in, that of building your own house. The second bottom line about money from the Bible is that you should always prepare for the future by saving now, just like Joseph handled the famine in Egypt by storing grain, Genesis 41:34-54. Finally, don't be preoccupied with money. Live below your means. In the end, I watched enough Christian TV to know what hypocrisy is. Some preach prosperity, claiming you deserve to reap the benefits of your hard work, which is fine, but if you have more money than you will ever need and you don't do anything to help alleviate some of the suffering in the world, straight and simple, you're not a Christian no matter how much you think you are. Money rules in the Bible. Live on a planned budget. For which of you, intending to build a tower, does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it? Luke 14:28. Avoid debt. The rich rule over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. Hang with decent people. Do not be deceived, evil company corrupts good habits. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Save and invest. In the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil. Proverbs 21:20. Be generous. For God loves a cheerful giver. 2 Corinthians 9:7. Trust God. 1 Philippians 4:19. And my God will meet all your needs according to His glorious riches in Christ Jesus. Help others. Tithe. 2 Malachi 3:10. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Don't worship money. 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Money is not evil. The love of it is. Give. 4 Acts 20:35. In everything I did, I showed you that by this kind of hard work we must help the weak, remembering the words the Lord Jesus Himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Chapter 3. Christian Money Resources. Dave Ramsey at daveramsey.com is the Christian money guru right now. Everydollar.com. DaveRamsey.com. Experian.com/blog/ask-experian/state-of-student-loan-debt. Scholarships.com. Facebook.com/everydollar. Twitter.com/everydollar. Instagram.com/everydollar. Pinterest.com/everydollar. YouTube.com, The Dave Ramsey Show. Dave Ramsey has a weekday radio show where he gives money advice. His free YouTube videos sound good where he talks at different churches and clubs. He's entertaining, has a certain amount of charisma, but I don't like the way he talks about tithing all the time. I get the impression that he is hinting for the people to tithe to him as a good guy trying to help them. I don't believe in this tithing crap. It's the same crap as the New Age law of attraction crap, that if you give with good intentions, the universe opens up to you and gives back many times over. I think television evangelists are all corrupted at the very least by their staff who push them to sing and dance for more money. He makes good money selling books and tapes which at best have elementary knowledge about money that you can find for free at any library. Number 332. He advertises his partner companies. He talks about getting a financial coach. I say go to number 332 at the library, borrow a few books and learn from them. Don't pay for money knowledge anywhere, not even an alleged Christian guru. When I see all those smiling faces on his website hawking their books and stuff, it makes me feel like here's another bunch of phonies hiding under the umbrella of Christianity. Christian money websites. Just because somebody markets themselves as a Christian financial advisor or money coach, doesn't mean they're honest or doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. I know at least one Christian money guru who's building a big mansion from the sales of his money books and DVDs through his radio show and free seminars at churches. It seems kind of unsavory when anyone claiming to be a Christian lives in material excess while so many people are starving. I certainly don't trust someone just because they shroud themselves in the Bible. Chaucer was writing about this hypocrisy 1,000 years ago. Don't trust someone just because they quote scripture and carry a Bible, especially the preachers who buy infomercial screen time. Try number 291.568 or BL65 at the library for books about the religious aspects of money. NACFC.org, National Association of Christian Financial Consultants. NCFALLC.com, National Christian Financial Advisors, Inc. Marathonmoney.org. DebtFreeAdventure.com, Christian Finance Directory. Crown.org, Christian Money, Crown Financial Ministries. BibleFinance.org. BibleMoneyMatters.com. SmartACT.com. CBN.com. GodMoneyMe.com. SeedTime.com. SeedTime.com/tithing-in-the-New Testament. King Jammy SBIBLEonline.org/Bible-verses-about-money. OpenBible.info/topics/managing_money. ProvidentLiving.org, Budget Worksheet. BibleStudyTools.com/topical-verses/money-Bible-verses. BibleDBT.com. PrayerTowerOnline.org. BibleMoneyMatters.com. LearnTheBible.org/Q_financial_help.htm. DaveRamsey.com. ChrisChandetLaw.com. Debt negotiations offered from a company owned and staffed by Christians. BibleMoneyCoach.com. FedFinancial.com/knowledgebase/views/2324/Arthurini Christian Foundation Sergianization Financial Help Widows.html. BibleMoneyMatters.com. MoneyHelpForChristians.com. ChristianPF.com. GodsMoneyCoach.com. Crown.org/for-church/solutions/mmcoaching/mmcoachingmain.aspx. GaryCarpenter.org. CFLI.org, Catholic Family Life Insurance, Disability, and Annuity Plans. ChristianWomenToday.com/moneyfreemoney-Finance.com/the_Bible_and_money. 1CHRISTIANFINANCIAL.com, Christian Financial Services. Acts17.com/money.html. AGFSG.org, AG Financial Services Group, provides financial planning and financing to Christian-related causes. BennyHinn.org, go to Financial Freedom section. BondFinancial.com, Christian investors and financial advisors in notes, receivables, Mortgages and Equity Capital. cfcministry.org, Christian Financial Concepts. cfrministry.org, Christian Financial Resources Inc. sharesfinancial.com, fee-based financial planning for Christian families, businesses, and ministries. christianbook.com, christianconnector.com, christiandebtconsultants.com, crown.org, Crown Financial Ministries. christianT.com/Christian businesses/Christian Financial, Christian Financial Services Mall. christianfdg.com, Christian Financial Development Group. christianfinancial.com, christianfinancialadvisors.org.uk, Association of Christian Independent Financial Advisors. christianfinancialbooks.com, christianfinancialclinic.com, christianfinancialconsultants.com, christianfinancialconsultants.net, Christian Credit Counseling. christianfinancialcu.com, Christian Financial Credit Union. christianfinancialfreedom.com, christianfinancialministries.net, christianfinancialnc.com, Huntersville, NC. christianfinancialtips.com, christianfp.com, christianiainvest.com, christianmoney.com, christianpf.com, Christian Personal Finance. churchlawtoday.com, crown.org, articles by well-known Christian financial experts Larry Burkett, Howard Dayton, and more. envoyfinancial.org, money advice, Christian. faithlifefinancial.ca, financialpeace.com, good-steward.org, Christian Financial Ministries. goodsteward.org/ministry, grfinancial.com, Christian Financial Planner and Christian Investment Advisor. lovepeoplenotmoney.com, managinggodsmoney.com, markgorman.com, piraeis.com/finance, Christian Finance, Christian Financial, Biblical Consumer Credit. prestigeadvisors.com, rockwealth.org, soundmindinvesting.com/finance, Christian Financial Newsletter. safin-spirit.com/debt-consolidation/united.html, United Christian Financial Debt Consolidation Services. wealthrichesmoney.org, Christian Financial Concepts. Money Matters at cfcministry.org, cfcministry.org. You can ask questions or buy books. Crown Financial Ministries. POG 100. Gainesville, Georgia 30503-0100. 800-722-1976. 770-534-1000. cfcministry.org. Christian Search Engines. 123christian.com/health. christianconnector.com, christianbuy.com, christiant.com, christiansunite.com, christsites.com, directory.crosswalk.com, faithwebsites.com, homewithgod.com, piraeis.com, safin-spirit.com, Christian Shopping, onlinechristianmall.com, christianityfreebies.com, christian-services-savvy.com, shopping.christiansunite.com. YouTube Christian Money Channels. The Dave Ramsey Show, Christian Sermons, Alex Gayer, Eagle Brook Church, Seed Time Money, The 700 Club. Get ready for Christ Return. Christian Community. Kingmakers, kingmakers.org.uk. Compassion Christian Church. Wendy Valencia. The Dave Ramsey Show Live. Seacoast Church, seacoast.org. Seed Time Money. Saddleback Church, saddleback.com/builtstirong. Joyce Meyer Sermons. Derek Prince. In Touch Ministries. Blooming Grove Christian Church. Englewood Ministries. The 700 Club. A Root Awakening. Christians with Ambition. Frank Reynolds. Kimberly Bethann Fincher.